Hello! Wow, this is crazy. This is actually the last episode of the Road to Mutant Mayhem until TMNT Mutant Mayhem drops in theaters. I don't know what to say. I'm excited. I'm grateful. Thank you so much for watching every single episode we've dropped thus far. Thank you guys for joining the call right now. It's been a blast, and I know it's not over yet, but I kind of want to cry. We're talking about Rise of the TMNT, the movie. It's a great movie. From an animation standpoint alone, I've gone on record saying that it's the best, technically, animated feature that the Turtles have ever had. It's just a fact. So, I'm not going to be in here talking a lot. I will be present throughout the entire discussion, chiming in here and there, but most of the time, it'll be taken over by these guys who have been here for every single episode. It's not about me. You guys should know this by now. I'm just your host, Geekily, but who's taken over my channel today to talk about this wonderful little film. Guys, take it away. Introduce yourselves.
I get it. He said, it's not about me, and that's one of the lines that Leo has in this movie. Hilarious.
Someone picked up on it.
Jigwave Kieran here, aka That Irish Geek. If you've watched the other videos, you know what I'm at. I am a huge Turtles fan, and while I was critical of Rise, the show, early on from like the designs, it really roped me in when I actually started watching, and I was hyped when this film came out. I'm looking forward to discussing it with everyone.
My name is Jackson Tompkins, and I'm back again. I'm excited to talk about this movie because I was literally so hyped for this film. I was counting down days for when it's going to release, and I cannot wait to talk about it.
I'm JP2005. You can refer to me as Jacob if you wish. Likewise with Jackals, this was literally like above No Way Home. Like my anticipation for this was originally supposed to release in 2021, but it got delayed. But initially, when it was going to release that year, this was above No Way Home in anticipation. It's one of my favorite animated movies of all time, and I'm super excited to talk about it.
I'm Starry, and a lot of people know me as Alive and Turtle Side, and this is a movie that I hold dearly to my heart, so I'm really excited to talk about it.
Hi everybody, it's Madison, but everyone calls me Maddie. You know me, Turtle Girl, big fan. I'm heartbroken that this is coming to an end, but I'm just excited to talk about this awesome movie.
Hey guys, I'm Alex, and I am not wait to be doing this last episode, but I am excited about reviewing this movie.
Don't be sad that it's over. Be happy that it happened.
I mean, part of the journey is in, but at least we're going on a happy note.
Well, let's not forget, it's not the end just yet. But until then, we have a new person actually bringing up in a presentation on the screen. JP took the job from Maddie. You should be ashamed of yourself. I'm joking. But I'm serious. JP is taking the job. So, JP, let's see your notes on the Rise of the TMNT movie. We'll go off of that and discuss the film.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to apologize if you hear my dog barking downstairs. What I'll start with is like a background of this production, because it's weird. It's one of these TMNT movies that's like, it's just not a lot of like info came out throughout the production until way after the movie was released, and it was only talked about through the creators. What I can start with here is that the crew is deep into the story of season 2 and season 3. Like, the original story they had planned was like a 3-story arc, and they had to pick up on season 2 initially when the show premiered. During the middle of production, they ordered the movie, and the one mandatory request at first was that the story needed to be instantly recognizable to all elements of the franchise, meaning that even though it's a Netflix movie continuation of this particular series, Nickelodeon wanted the audience to like have the ability to watch this film without actually have seen the original series.
Makes sense. Yeah.
It's a good strategy, won't lie. The original idea and story for this movie was actually supposed to be a dimension traveling film, with Casey and Raph being the main characters rather than Leo.
Oh man, I would have liked that.
Oh damn it. We were just talking about this before recording about...
I didn't actually know that.
We were just talking about like potential Turtles Forever 2 stuff pre-recording, and it's like, oh my god, this is what Rise was gonna originally be for the movie? Like, oh... I mean, I'm happy with the film we got in the end, but...
Well, yeah, me too. I will say I'm not exactly sure if they meant dimension hopping. I'm not sure if they meant multiverse. But yeah, it was supposed to be the dimensional travel aspect was actually in an effort to showcase a more traditional Casey Jones. But the creators did clarify it was not in an effort to replace Cassandra, because they were adamant that was this universe's Casey.
Right.
But according to some like little cheeky remarks from the director, from the creators of the show and the movie, it would seem Nickelodeon actually wanted them to kind of retcon that Cassandra storyline, because they wanted a traditional male Casey, which is
Okay.
They can
I-
both
I actually do-
coexist. Like, what the heck?
They
Yeah.
can. They really can. And I do love Cassandra. That's one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
like,
I love
honestly,
the character. She's hilarious.
I wouldn't have been mad if they just stuck with Cassandra and that was the end of it.
I mean, like, Jane Foster Thor and regular, Thor exists in the MCU, at least.
Yeah, just Jane Foster is way better.
To get more into it, yeah, they wanted, and the original pitch for this film was like Casey would have been like the traditional, more grizzled, gritty, and brutal vigilante akin to older incarnations. Another interesting tidbit: the original catalyst of this story would have been Raph finding Casey just like wailing on some mutant shark, and Raph would initially see it as like, oh no, this human's like he's picking on one of my people, and he would end up saving the shark mutant, only to realize that the shark dude, his name was Armagon. Sorry,
I was about to ask, was it Armagon?
yeah, it's Armagon.
I
His name is
saw
Armagon.
stuff for Armagon. I saw like concept art for Armagon, and I was like, oh my god.
You guys know I'm super knowledgeable on all things TMNT. This movie, I stayed away from learning about it, and I'm glad I did. Hearing it now for the first time, this is a treat. I love being informed on Turtle stuff. This doesn't happen often.
Yeah,
Hearing
I'm in the
about
exact
this
same
makes me
boat.
wish we had gotten this as a sequel for this movie, because now I'm like, wait, we could have had Armagon? We could have had Armagon? Ron Perlman?
That sucks.
Because, like, what is it? When I was like leading up to the hype for the film, like I was feverishly trying to watch all of the show because season 2 had not been put on Paramount Plus in the UK and Ireland server for us yet. So I was just kind of constantly getting at them on Twitter, being like, "Hey, when are you putting Rise season 2 on there? Movie's coming out in a month. I need to get caught up." And I deliberately stayed away from trailers and all promo material so I could go in completely blind for this. And I'm glad I did because it was an excellent viewing experience.
Definitely. Yeah. Adding on to what you said about like asking when season 2 would be on there. Yeah. I will say I'll get into this a little more later, but the marketing for not like this film in particular was just god awful.
Terrible.
It was god
garbage.
Yeah, getting more into it. So we would have seen Raph end up saving Armagon, and that would have ended up being the catalyst for the story because it would have turned out Armagon was like sort of like Silver Surfer, like the herald to the Krang, and he would have already stolen the key, revealing that Casey was actually the good guy all along.
Oh, okay.
That's amazing. What the heck?
Yeah,
Why did we get that movie?
It is like a fresh new twist on the classic Meet Casey Jones storyline.
Yeah,
That would be so dope.
we're gonna get into it in a minute. There's another movie we could have gotten, and I think you guys are really gonna favor that one. But
Now, I will say, don't get me wrong.
What?
I absolutely love the movie we
Hard
did
on?
get. I don't want to discredit that.
Oh yeah,
The movie we got was insane.
This isn't
The
a
movie
dig at
we
the
got-
actual final product.
it is no. Just there was another idea for the film that they're hoping could possibly be a sequel. Anyway, back to it. So after with the Casey debacle, Nickelodeon's second request was to age Casey down to a teenager for the second time in the franchise. Which I didn't really get because they weren't even at the story we got to from the final movie.
Yeah.
Like when they asked for that, they just asked for like just cause they just wanted Casey to be a teenager. Crafting the story for this film for the creators was a bit of a hassle because even before this, Nickelodeon just cut half of the episode order of season 2 of Rise of the actual series and didn't even give them like a pickup for season 3. And once again, the creators had a perfect like 3-season arc, and season 3 was actually supposed to be the build up to Krang and was gonna tell Leo's story to becoming the leader instead of what we got. What was the movie? So due to that narrative struggle, they were a year into the production, and after the show was basically canceled, they had to scrap the entire original script they had and start off from page 1 with an entirely new story in an effort to properly wrap up Leo's arc.
Considering all of the struggles they had, they did a great job.
Absolutely.
They did do a
Goes
really
without
great
saying.
job.
Yeah, they
Final
really
product
did.
was amazing.
Somehow managed to pull off a Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
On a wholesome note, even after they basically canceled the show, every person on the production team chose to stay just to help produce the movie because they like wholeheartedly wanted to help finish the story of this incarnation. The dimensional travel aspect of the story eventually, to the writers, it ended up becoming too complex for the major demographic audience for this film, which was going to be kids watching Netflix, of course.
Fair enough.
Obviously.
Turtles. So yeah, they thought it became too complex, so they ended up turning it into a time travel story instead. And lastly, so this is what I was hinting towards. When originally coming up with the ideas for this movie, they were teeter-tottering between two ideas. A Krang story that we would eventually be getting for the final movie, or they had a much darker story in mind revolving around the Rat King.
Of course they did.
Yeah, and
of course they did.
The turtles being forced to fight their father, and they were teeter-tottering on this because they've even if you've watched the show, you can see it plainly. But they even admitted like the main character of the entire series was Splinter, and we had an entire story planned for Splinter that we had to cut short after the show was canceled. So they originally wanted to cap it off with a Splinter story, but they decided like with the little tease at the end of the series with Leo become the leader, they went towards that more, which I'm personally happy with.
Goes without saying, spoilers for this film and the rest of Rise.
Oh, come on. They've had a year. We have a whole other TMNT movie coming. It's their fault.
Yeah.
It's their fault.
That is very fair.
Got a whole new movie coming out in less than a week.
Ant Ward and Andy Siriano, they both said openly that they're open to the possibility of continuing the story of Rise through made-for-streaming movies rather than continuing the series. So
honestly,
they said,
do it.
Yeah, that's a better option, honestly.
I will take anything Rise-related.
If they get that budget every single time...
We are in for some animation food, boys.
Yo, if we can't get those movies either, give me the Rise of TMNT Bible.
Give us the production Bible. We'll make our own stuff.
Yeah, that's it for like the production background. Next slide is just my pros and cons. The fighting animation is like, in my opinion, the best in the franchise, like hands down.
Yeah, I don't think there can be much of a debate there.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
I mean, as much as I love 2007, this is like the best animated Turtles film purely for its animation. Like, hands down, no question.
Yeah.
Disney wishes it was this good.
It goes beyond just the discussion of like, oh, this is the best Turtles animated thing. This is like one of the best Western action animated things, period. It exceeds just TMNT.
Setting a high bar because the show itself was really good.
Yeah.
Really well
I didn't think it could get any better.
The finale fight alone.
Oh my god. So yeah, definitely some of the best animation in the franchise. Some of the imagery in this movie is surprisingly brutal that I didn't really expect. The opening of the film, I have in parentheses here, you can literally see like Big Mama's entire corpse like hanging off of a stick.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was Big Mama.
I didn't even notice that.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Where do you see that?
You can see April like under the rubble.
Yeah, I think you can see like her hair like blowing in the wind or something.
It's her hair and her hand. Like she's holding her broken bat. It's scary.
Oh.
Yeah,
The stakes were high in this movie.
Dang.
if I remember correctly, if you want to go back and see it, it's like in the opening in the apocalypse sequence, it's right after Mikey like uses his powers to decimate those Krang dog creatures, and there's like a wide shot of all these Krang mechs like looking at the explosion and walking towards it. And right below them, you see like April's body crushed under rubble.
It goes without saying, like this film, and even I would just say like Rise in general, the sense of escalation is like higher than any previous TMNT adaptation I have seen. Like, sure, we get some like very world-ending like stakes in past versions, but like this film, like there is a weight that you can feel watching it. It's just, it feels so different.
Next pro I have is like, the coloring and the lighting. Just the background art too in this movie is phenomenal. My favorite scene of the movie is when the Krang first show up, like through the portal at the Foot Clan's hideout. The coloring, the lighting, all the pink and purple. Oh my god, it was beautiful. Next pro I have is like the voice acting for this film is just superb. Like the crew, they brought their A game for this film. Ben Schwartz specifically, he killed it.
Yeah, it goes without saying, but like obviously because similar voice actor, was anyone else reminded of the Sonic movies?
Yeah.
Like I feel like Sonic in Sonic 2 has a very similar character arc that Leo has, in that he needs to let go of the cocky nature of being a hero and actually, step up and protect others and look out for everyone, rather than just being like, oh, I'm doing this for, the heroic side and the thrill of it. It's like, no, there's lives at stake.
I've actually seen a fan animatic of like they animated with the Rise characters, but it was dubbed over that scene in Sonic where he's like getting that pep talk, like it's not all about you.
Nice.
Yeah, so there definitely is that similarity and coincidental with the voice actors. Next one is like, the Krang in this film.
Best Krang. Best Krang.
Oh my god!
Oh,
I've never been scared of the Krang before.
Literally the best
I've never
Krang,
been
though.
scared of the Krang before.
I like Rise's depiction of Krang more than Shredder.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah, I liked Rise Krang more than I liked Rise Shredder.
I guess I think the designs of their suits, like the bodysuits, look so menacing and creepy.
Yeah.
Like
They look like the Emmy
He's
from
standing on
Metroid
top
Dread.
of
Yes. Oh my god.
Triceratops skull.
Yeah, that was sick. And we had a little Agent Bishop cameo at the end of the movie.
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh my
I
god!
love that. I love that. I
Wait, we
streamed
did?
and saw that.
Straight up, yeah, the
Sounds
Earth
like Trevor
Protection
getting
Force
here.
does show up, clearing up like all the mess, and
This
he's like,
could
no
have been
pictures to like
exactly
nearby.
the same, but it would have been longer with season 3. We'd had the other movie.
Yeah, continuing on. I love the added like lore with the Krang's history on Earth, like with when Splinter gives that little exposition speech at the beginning when they first meet Casey, and I love Leo and Casey's dynamic. That's one of the things that made me tear up with this film. Their dynamic is really sweet.
I can't tell you how
Yeah.
satisfying it was to have that scene where Casey just absolutely, chews into Leo and tells him what's up. He snaps some
Yeah.
sense.
He's like,
Yeah.
the world needs
And-
Master Leonardo, and all we have is this guy.
That was the gut punch.
This guy.
That
And the
was
fact
a gut punch
I was like,
indeed, yeah.
hearing that from
That
Sora
might have
was
been a slap.
crazy.
Yes, thank you. I was waiting for someone to point it out. Like Haley Joel Osment, Sora from Kingdom Hearts, gave us one of the
Yeah.
best scenes in this movie.
That's another one of my favorite scenes. I watched this movie first. I first watched it with my cousin, and that scene came on once he said it. Like, oh, so loudly. That line was awesome.
That moment when Sora from Kingdom Hearts rips into Leo from TMNT, and it's the greatest chew out of all time.
This was honestly the first movie that ever made me cry, and that scene was the
Really?
scene
Wow.
that made me cry.
That's insane.
Damn.
I want to tie this back to a previous episode of Road to Mutant Mayhem. Road to TMNT Mutant Mayhem. Let me correct myself. I've been shortening the title the last few times I've said that. How do you cast Sora for Casey Jones and have it worked so well and cast the green freaking arrow as Casey and drop the ball? Like, what?
No.
No.
We're not talking about Michael Bay anymore. Leave it in the
What
past.
we did wrong. It's
Really a
that.
detective.
I ride my
someday.
memory of those films.
Ay.
Continuing forward, this version of Raphael just continues to be. I'll clarify. He's my second favorite iteration of Raphael. I love
Yeah.
Raz Raphael. It was a good enough wrap up for the series itself, but cleverly leaves the door open for a comeback. I love the world building with the Earth Protection Force and the Triceratops skull in Krang's throne room. A quick theory that I had was judging from Splinter's exposition about the Krang were first trapped by these 4 mystic warriors who literally have the same exact colors of the TMNT. My theory was that if the series were to continue, they were going to go the IDW route of these turtles being reincarnations of these mystic warriors. Yeah, that's been a theory I've had since the movie came out. Cons, towards the beginning of the movie, Leo is super overly rude and careless at times. It's very obnoxious. I guess it's part of the arc, but there's certain scenes where I'm like, why
Yeah.
would you do that?
Aaron.
Yeah, I feel like his character development was kind of thrown out from the show, was thrown into the garbage, and they completely rewrote him from episode 1.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
You could say.
Some of my biggest ones are just these little plot holes. In the end of the series, it's made clear that the Krang are the ones who gave Oroku Saki the armor that corrupted him into Shredder, yet it's never mentioned or alluded to in the film. There's also no explanation as to how the Krang are able to lock the turtles' mystic powers. It's never explained. I thought that was a little bit weird. I thought there was going to be more of a connection to the mystic abilities. It's just never explained.
Yeah.
It's because the plot demands it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Splinter doesn't really have a lot to do, which is a bit upsetting since he was basically the main character of this incarnation of the Turtles. I wish it was longer just so we could give Mikey and Donnie a little more to do, a little more focus
Yes.
and agency within the
I
story.
still love their dynamic, though.
Rise Donnie is best Donnie, and I will fight for that.
I will fight you.
obviously,
I'm sorry, I'm
part
a
of it comes
2003 guy.
from I
will defend
okay,
this
I love
autistic
2003
thing.
Donnie as well, but it's obviously I'm coming from the angle of it's kind of subtly confirmed by I think one of the writers that he's sort of autistic coded, and it's I see so much of myself in Donnie, even the bad
Me
parts,
too,
which is why
man.
I wasn't big on him originally, but then I realized, oh, I'm just being reminded of the worst parts of myself with this guy, and it's okay, I like this Donnie now. I see where he's coming from.
Autistic representation for the win.
Last, just to wrap this up really quickly, what was it with the chemicals that April found at the university that they were just coincidentally the Krang's one and only weakness? I'm starting to wonder if Earth Protection Force has something to do with that. Draxum and Cassandra are sorely missed within it. I was very excited to see them and their dynamic with the family. And lastly, are the Foot Clan dead? They get infected with the Krang stuff, and then we never see them again after the movie.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
kind of
it's a Phantom
weird.
Menace thing.
Where did they go?
This last slide really quickly, I also agree. That's Donnie.
Yes.
That's Donnie.
Yeah.
Entire
When
franchise.
did you get the barbs continue?
I guess there's only one other point I need to bring up, and that is, like, so many shots in this movie could be my desktop background.
Yes.
I just can't decide on
Yes.
which one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's not forget the memes.
Absolutely.
Let's hope we get plenty of more screensaver meme moments when Mutant Mayhem hits theaters. When it comes to all the past movies, this is it. We've done it. It's a bittersweet moment. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for joining me.
I just wanted to say thank y'all so much for including me. This was truly a blast, and to talk to other TMNT fans, it was just amazing. Thank you all so much.
Thank you for joining.
I think it goes without saying that this has been an absolute joy to work on Geekily, and I greatly appreciate being invited on for this and for being able to chat with everyone in call right now. Like, you guys are awesome. I've never been able to talk Turtles this much, and this passionately with anyone, really, without being seen as the odd one out. It's nice to have this small little group, and hopefully we can do more stuff like this in the near future.
Irish Geek, I can agree with you. Like, even when it comes to like just how mainstream like comic book stuff and like MCU is, like, I can talk about Turtles with anyone outside of here, and it's like, what are you talking about? Surprising, like, that's just Ninja Turtles isn't as mainstream as it once was, and it's awesome to know that I have like this community here to talk to.
With like the past 2 episodes that I've been in, it's been an honor to just join you guys on this road
To
the series,
TMNT
and I
Mutant Mayhem.
can't wait to see you guys.
Thank you for joining.
I can't wait to just like join you guys in more projects.
I am just trying to process this journey we've been on, because I'm just not waiting for this to be the finale. I want to keep doing more of this, but we've done every film except Mutant Mayhem. But I am so thankful that I got to spend time with you guys making these videos and talking to you guys about these films. Knowing that me and Geekily are not the only TMNT fans is awesome.
This really saved me when I needed something to hang on to again. This project, it literally came like a miracle that I needed to hold on to. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, no, you're
It's
fine.
Okay. Take your time.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Understandable. It's
We're all,
quite
we're all
Maddie.
here rooting for you. It's okay.
okay. I'm about to cry too.
Some of you guys already know, like, I've been through so much. This project literally gave me something to keep going for, and it gave me new friends to talk to, and I met so many amazing people, and you guys are so awesome, and thank you for saving me.
You did a lot of this
Absolutely, yeah.
yourself. You
Yeah.
came here. You shared your love for Turtles. You had a presentation almost every episode. You're the strong one here. We're just rooting for you, and we're happy to have you. Anytime we come together, we're going to have pizza. We're going to enjoy this movie. It's going to be grand. You see what I did there? Yeah.
Wait,
But
did
no,
he steal the thing that I said?
I did. But no, Maddie, that was very, very kind, and I thank you for all the work that you put in. I thank all of you. When I was little, I didn't know that I would have half of this, so thank you guys so much. We will meet back here after we have all witnessed the new TMNT film, Mutant Mayhem. So without further ado, ready for the outro, guys? Here we go. I've been Geekly, you've been awesome, and I'll catch you guys in the Mutant Mayhem videos.
Cowabunga,
Cowabunga.
dude! New York, what a town.
Booyakasha!
Cowabunga.